Should the 49ers be leery of giving Deebo Samuel a big payday?
Not at all. Don't be leery. It's very simple. San Francisco 49ers, please understand this. The top 5 receivers in football, they're making $25+ million a year.
Yeah.
The top 10 receivers in football are making $20+ million a year. Debate with your mama where Deebo Samuel's fall from 1 to 10, but I'll tell you this.
What?
He falls somewhere between 1 through 10. You got to pay Deebo. The only reason I hesitate to pay players in the National Football League are they too injury prone. And if they are too injury prone, are they afraid of playing through those injuries? Deebo Samuel does not fall under either, or at least both of those categories. The second reason I fear to pay a player, do they lack maturity? Do they lack maturation?
Okay.
Deebo Samuel does not lack the maturation to maintain playing at a high level. The last reason I fear paying a player is the league gonna catch up to his style of play. And you can't catch up to Deebo's style of play because it's hard to catch Deebo.
Oh, okay.
And if you catch Deebo, it's even harder to bring him down. 49ers, you can try to figure out where Deebo falls from 1 to 10, 1 to 20, but I know this much. He's a top 10 receiver, and he deserves top 10 money, which is $20 million a year minimum.
Woo! Man, I hate getting in somebody's pockets, especially when I want to come out with money in my hand and take it from their wallet. But you got to be leery. You got to be leery. Like, leery. I ain't say, like, you're not going to do it, but you got to think twice about doing it. Why? I said think twice. Has Deebo showed you last year twice? Uh-oh. Anybody? Anybody? Look, I'm a guy who got paid off of 1 year, so look, Deebo, get paid, young homie, get paid. However, damn it, if I'm the organization, you should have thought twice about Wiley. Think twice about Samuel. Let's talk about this. Acho, let's play a little trivia game. You know,
okay.
Bartender, get him a double, water. Who was 45th in receptions since they came into the league? Anybody? Oh, you know. Who? No, bartender, don't be mean. 25th in receiving yards since they came into the league. Anybody? Who had just 4, their receiver, right? 4 receiving touchdowns in their entire career, and then last year, woo, big jump, 6. Come on, man, stop playing with me. You ready for this, Acho? Bartender, he ain't liking this water. Here we go. He started 15 games last year. Let me do the math. How many games do they play? A little more than that. Oh, whatever. In his entire career before that, he had started a total of 16. We're looking at the same thing differently. You could be like, oh, my God, he is surging. Get him right now while he's cheap because he is going there. First time, first team all-pro wide receiver. First time ever making the Pro Bowl. All I'm saying is to bet in that consistency, to see future behavior like we saw from you, Deebo, we need to see past behavior. We don't really have a deep past to draw from. So I will be leery of giving them that money.
I understand your thought process, and I don't necessarily think it's wrong. But even if you're going to be leery, regardless, you got to do it because somebody else will. You can't be mad when somebody cheats the system. Sal, there will come a point in time, if it hasn't happened with your oldest daughter, with your next set of children, where you know they lying, but you can't catch them.
Woo!
It's like, I know.
I can't catch them?
You can't catch them. Like, you know they lying about something, but you just don't know how to catch them in the lie. So it's like, you know what? You got me.
Yeah, got it.
Deebo Samuel got the Niners, big dog.
Let's hear it.
If you ball as you enter that 4th year, that contract year, they got you.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like what you want as a team is for a player to ball early and then be sorry or late so you ain't got to pay him as much during that contract year. But if they ball going into that contract year, they got you. Unfortunately, the system is rigged so that if a player balls in this contract year, you got to pay that player. Deebo balled. So it's like, what else you want to do? You want to hold his rookie year, his sophomore year against him? I don't think you can do it. No. Furthermore, if you don't pay him, somebody else will, so it might as well be you.
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, look, the system was rigged, and I knew the rules to rig it. You know, I always tell people in this world, when they say, oh, man, this country's rigged, I'm like, yeah, you do the rigging. You got to know the rules and know how to play the game within the game, and Deebo did it. I did it. Like, I sat on the bench for 3 years. I wasn't tripping. As long as that 4th year came, let me get mine. And I didn't know what I was going to do. Thankfully, they opened up the opportunity for me because I couldn't force their hand, but I was praying. Please let me get on this field this contract year. I get your point. Here's the thing about Deebo, though. His style of play already suggests to you he ain't long for this. Now, I don't believe in that, but I do know that's a real narrative. I believe there are some guys. I remember when Warrick Dunn got drafted, same year as I. And I remember talking to him. I was like, dog, they say you're going to get killed in the league because you're this big. Dog, every time I play Warrick Dunn, I don't think I touched him. I touched the wind and the shadow of him. Like, never him. He was like, dog, I see y'all coming. I'm like, yeah, that's going to take a while. And Deebo seems the opposite of that. Everyone says, oh, my God, such a taxing style. He's looking for physicality. He's looking for the hit. But they do add up. And right now, his numbers don't add up to the big payday in totality. And then if these hits are going to start adding up on you, Deebo, and we have seen injuries before from you or lack of availability, this is sounding a little too uneven for me to simply digest this and say, checkbook and pen, write your number down.
But then what's your move, Sel? Because Deebo got the Niners between a rock and a hard place.
No, he don't. Franchise tag. Where'd that come from? Franchise tag again? Where'd that come from? He ain't going to play? You ain't going to play? Say it, Deebo. I dare you. Be the first player that never played on this franchise tag. I dare you.
Okay, you franchise tag Deebo, you get the average of the top 5 paid at the position. So you franchise tag Deebo, he gonna make $28 million. You franchise tag him again, by then he gonna make $30 million. You've just paid him 2 years, $58 million.
And figured out if he gonna stay healthy or not. Figure out if he gonna stay as great as he was or not. Figure out if it was Mike McDaniels or not. And I don't believe it was. I'm just telling you all the thought bubbles I got. You gotta pop them. Thought bubbles are simple. You got to pop them. I had a back surgery in my contract year with no Bruce Smith. They was like, we ain't paying you. Brought me into the general manager's office and literally said, I hope you have a great season. You're not getting paid here. And I was like, damn. And then it turned out it was a blessing. They were like, you're going to have to get that money. The money you're commanding, we ain't got that in Buffalo for you coming off the back surgery, et cetera. Fine for me. General manager who told me that in Buffalo ended up going to San Diego. I followed him to San Diego. Turns out that was coming from a little higher than him. Deebo's in a situation where you got to have some doubts about, is he going to do this again? Is he going to do this again without Mike? Is he going to do this again without Mike and stay healthy? Like, dog, those are 3 things that make me want to franchise tag you at least one time, but that's not even now. That's next year.
But if you don't pay Deebo, Sal, who in the world do you pay? Ooh. What was that Niners offense last year without Deebo Samuel?
Oh, nothing.
Nothing. Extinct.
Yeah.
So if it's bad ball and looks terrible for the Niners if you can have a guy who can essentially lead the NFL in all-purpose yards. When you talk about rushing yards plus receiving yards, at least lead all receivers. When you have a guy who can do that and you still don't want to pay him, now all the young bucks, the Ayuks of the world, the young cats on the Niners roster, like, wait a second. Oh, this ain't going to be home for me very long. Like, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
general managers get a resume inside the locker room.
Yeah,
oh, boy, do they. Howie Roseman, he has a resume inside that Eagles locker room, and he has a reputation inside that Eagles locker room. You do not want to be the GM that everybody's like, oh, I ain't even going to negotiate with him. Like, he ignorant.
Notoriously cheap. Yeah, but we all say that. And we're like, man, that franchise notoriously cheap. But they got a full roster, and they got a minimum salary cap, and they spending that money
on
somebody eating. Here's the thing, be real. Damn, I gotta reach out to Deebo. He came on the show, he was amazing. I gotta talk to him for real. They gonna play you, dog. They gonna play you. This is how they gonna play you. It's easy to play him. This is easy to set him up for failure. Ready? Trey Lance, Deebo, play. Whatever Trey Lance is going through, Deebo gonna suffer more. One, he's unconventional. So maybe he'll say, give me the ball, hand it to me. But as a defense, I saw that game plan. I've seen that blueprint. I got 17 games of that. Oh, Deebo, I dare you to run the ball the same. You're not threatening us on the deep end. Trey Lance trying to figure it out. This is what happened to Dez Bryant, bruh. This is why Dez Bryant fell off a cliff.
Preaching now, Sal.
Because Dak came in, and Dak like, I'm running what the play says. And Dez like, throw the 50-50 robo ball. And then all of a sudden, Dak like, I'm trying to get mine. And Dez couldn't get his. Woo! If him and Trey Lance don't hit the ground running, which
they can't. They can't.
Thank you.
They can't. Not
so
even.
Now you franchise. Now that money, that value done came down. It's you begging for the franchise tag now because that value gonna come down and it's gonna look like a one-hit wonder, even though we know he way better than.
So then it's on Deebo to get out now, or at least get out when Jimmy G gets out. It's kind of what it seems like. Deebo either has to get out when Jimmy G gets out, or he got to get paid before Trey Lance becomes a starter, just because Trey Lance and Deebo will not have the same instantaneous success that Jimmy G and Deebo had last year.
I'm with you. That is third option. That is my worst option, is to go out there with Trey Lance and expect Trey Lance to hit the ground running in his first year as a full-time starter with the fewest collegiate reps of any first-round draft.
It's not even that. You can't put $120 million on Trey Lance.
On Trey Lance.
Like, Deebo has $120 million riding on this. Devontae Adams had, I got to think, paid $140. Yeah. So Deebo Samuel got $120-some-odd million riding on Trey Lance. I would not put my $120 million future in the hands of a 22-year-old that hasn't really started but one game in his career.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
He got you under his thumb. He doesn't know which way is up. He's trying to figure it out, and then your money is tied to him. Woo! Spicy up in San Fran. We'll be watching.